Hello, we are live with Bottleneck today, and I'm just going ahead and clicking on my Do Not Disturb, but I'm live with my beautiful wife, Sarah, today, and we're going to be talking to the legendary Doug and Michelle Myers of Pink Colors. Wonder what that is? Stay tuned. We'll be back in about 38 seconds. Well, hello. My name is Jamie J, and I am the founder and CEO of Bottleneck Virtual Assistants, and this is my lovely wife,
Sarah Knox.
And she is my boss. And we have a really cool special edition of Live with Bottleneck, and I have to say I'm really excited about talking to Michelle and Doug Myers. They're the founder and prezi of Pink Colors. We're going to talk a little bit about like what's up with the VAs this day. VAs meaning virtual assistants. And let me quickly give you a little idea of who we're going to be talking to today and why they're going to be able to help you stop the bottleneck in your business. Michelle is the founder and CEO of Pink Colors, an administrative support solution that assigns customer service rock stars to support home service businesses remotely. Pink Colors manages all incoming calls, emails, and chats to your businesses, inputs all information into your business CRM, and schedules both sales appointments and accepted crew work. Pink Colors' mission is to provide work-at-home opportunities in the admin support space. Now, you may be wondering, why do we have Pink Colors on Live with Bottleneck? And I'll tell you exactly why here in a second, as soon as I introduce you to these wonderful human beings. And this, the special version of Live with Bottleneck is because we're a couple business owner, and so is Doug and Michelle. And I thought that would be kind of interesting to have a nice interaction, a nice dialogue. Without any further ado, please allow me to introduce you to Doug and Michelle Myers. How are you?
Hey guys.
What's up?
I don't know if we deserve the legendary title that we're starting out, but I'll take it. That's a high compliment.
Nice.
Thank you.
Well, I just enjoy everything that you do. I just think it's so awesome. And you can tell obviously you guys are so in love, and it's neat because we've talked a couple times. We've talked about the different roles each of us have in our own organizations. And I'd like to jump into that, but I'd also like to touch base about what Pink Colors is and all of that. But first, I wonder if maybe you can tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
I am Doug, president and co-owner here at Pink Colors. And much like you, I am the luckiest guy in the world that gets to work with my wife every day. A lot of people come up and say, how do you do it? How do you work with your wife every day? And it is honestly a pleasure. And I will give my big secret away to everyone right off the bat. It's learning exactly what your strengths and what your roles are. And as we call it, staying in your lane. Right from the very beginning, on day one, we sat down and laid out a game plan, a guideline, and I clearly know what my lane is. Michelle knows what her lane is. And when we sort of veer into each other's lanes, we beat the horn and say, get back over in your own lane. So, again, I have a great pleasure in not only working with Michelle every day. Our team across this country is extraordinary. I am so proud of them that I get to call myself the leader of that team. So I am one of the happiest people in the world.
And I'm Michelle, and I'm the founder. This was my crazy, big obnoxious idea. And I was a single mom when I created this concept and needed a job that worked for myself and my family. And I couldn't find anything that wasn't selling some sort of a product or doing some sort of a home show or, you know, doing something like that. I wanted to do something that solved problems, and I solved a big problem, hopefully, in providing at-home work opportunities for people, and then helping home and field service companies solve sort of the office component of their business. So that's me.
I love it how you've really nailed it down. Like you've really defined your niche and all of that. And I'm sure Sarah's going to pop up here with a question here pretty soon as we go along. But one of the biggest things, and by the way, if you are watching this, no matter if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, say howdy. And as a matter of fact, Raina says hello, everyone. Cute couple business owners there.
Raina.
But what I want to encourage you to do is ask questions. If your business owners looking for either Pink Collar's provided solutions and you're in the home service industry specifically, please, it's okay. You can ask away. If for some reason you're catching this on the replay while we're not live, ask questions and I'll make sure to forward those off to both Doug and Michelle for you. But I'd like to jump into this if that's okay with you. One of the biggest things about building a company like this is knowing, you said stay in your lane and knowing what your roles are and responsibilities. For me, I do not like the numbers end of anything. I just, oh God, it just freaks me out, right? Sarah, she's the rock star. Like she nails that stuff. Like we have our set defined roles.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, we sure do.
What are your specific roles that each of you have?
I handle marketing, sales, really the front end communication of the company. And
then I manage all the peeps. I do operations and systems, organization. I handle customer service for our clients and just, you know, client relationship nurturing. So I just kind of do all the operational stuff. And then I rely on 4 incredibly important team leads that run our teams in each specific time zone. And I could not do any of this without them. So really operationally, I rely on the team most of all. So
that's fantastic. So what were some of the biggest hurdles in getting started?
Well, it's interesting. We got started. Doug actually met me when I was a single mom living in a house, and he came over to pick me up for a lunch date and walked in, and I had a laptop, a desktop, some flip thing, a flip phone, a voice over IP phone, a cell phone. I had all this stuff on like a 10-foot dining room table.
it looked a little like NASA. I have to admit, there was a lot of technology going on that I didn't understand.
Yeah, he was totally weirded out. And he's like, do you do something illegal? Like, what is this? Right? And he worked in construction materials procurement. So he used to procure construction materials.
Yeah.
And he came in and said, you know, basically you're outsourcing your office. You're an office person and you're outsourcing for the clients that you serve. At the time I had 3 clients. That was it. That was the max I could do. You know, this phone would ring and then that phone and then this laptop, and I was typing and doing and whatever. And he said, you know, this could really be a business. And I was just like, when are we going out on our date? Because I really needed to. And number 2, this isn't a business. This is a hustle. This is what single moms do to make it happen, so that when their little kid gets off the bus, they're not a total schmuck. They're home, right? and he's like, no, this is business. So he really had a lot of faith in me and a lot of trust. And he said, I really think you could turn this into a business. So we ended up getting married really quickly. We're one of those crazy, like 90-day fiance people. And we got married and moved into his house with he and his daughter. And the first thing he said to me as he's on his way out to work the first day, he says, so I want you to post an ad and I want you to replace yourself. And that's your one goal. Now that you're living in a house and the mortgage is paid, you have to actually replace yourself. And
that's how we're going to grow.
That's how it started. So yeah. He saw it in me, and I didn't see entrepreneurial ism in myself at all, and he really saw it. So
it's
give him a lot of that.
Thank you. It's that old adage, you can't focus when it's this close to your face. Sometimes you have to get a little distance on it. And I was just that lens that I could see the business through, because I saw it from a different perspective than she had. So that's all it was. I mean, she had the talent, she had the personality, she had the drive, she has the tools. It was just sort of setting it all on the right path.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, I think one of our biggest challenges was, okay, we're in the house and we're kind of working together. And Sarah was like, okay, I need to have my own space when I do this. So I got set up in the 3rd bedroom, and she turned part of the living room into her little office, and she separated it by a bunch of plants and flowers, and I have to knock on the wall before I walk in.
I love it. And how did you guys get totally started? Did you start together as well? How did you get started?
Kind of. Well, I've been doing it for quite a while, but it wasn't until she jumped on board that was kind of like what you did, Doug. It kind of like,
yeah, it's so funny.
Kind of raised the level, and she had all these questions like, why doesn't it just do this instead of this and this? And I'm like, well, because I didn't set it up that way. Well, why don't you? Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So she's really good at taking my long-winded answers and distilling them down into something very simple and easy for people to understand, because I have a tendency to run off at the mouth a little bit. And she says, Jamie, you talk too much. You need to ask more questions.
That's awesome, Jamie.
I think we all do that a little. A
little bit. So what's been your biggest challenge working?
Figuring out what our lanes are. Yeah, because we'll and what he actually needs from me. So there's so much going on, and I have other things to do besides the business. So I train some people with personal training. So I'm not available at all the same times that Jamie is. So when he needs help with something like the new website we're launching, I'm like, okay, finally I got around, I got time. I'm going to look over the website, and Jamie's like, why didn't you do this like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
It wasn't a priority for me then, but I've got it now, so I jump into the meeting, and it's just figuring out when you can be helpful and when you can be a hindrance. So that for me, I'm still kind of feeling that out with him, with all the different moving parts that are going on with Bottleneck. But I think we've got it figured out. Yeah. So that's my biggest challenge is I don't want to step on his toes, but I want to make it right.
She was really good at getting QuickBooks, getting us organized. Like, I didn't have any of that before.
There you go.
And so go ahead. Did you want to
No, I was just going to add, I think it's important sometimes to be able to really step back and respect that someone can step on your toes and say the things that you need to hear sometimes, even when in our mind we're thinking, I've got it all figured out, I'm doing it the right way. And someone else's perspective can see it completely different and really change the game. And I know that we go through that quite often, where we look at a process or we look at a system or a communication tool or something and say, ask the question why. Like, why can't it get better? Why are we doing it this way? Why not that way? And I think that's really helped us grow.
Yeah, I think another thing is we have to learn maybe to take our ego out of it a little bit. And sometimes, well, gosh, that was kind of mean, the way I asked her to do that or the way I said to do that. So I'm more cognizant of that, I think, and it's been really helpful. And you mentioned processes. I love process because that gets what's in here out. And it's really good because that takes our communication up another level. What were some of the biggest challenges you've had with regards to establishing the processes and getting the communications channels open?
Well, I kind of headed up that activity because I knew that if we didn't have processes in place to be able to replicate myself, the very first thing, the very first person, and then one turns into two, and then two turns into four, I almost started to see the business as 50 people when I first started. So I was like, okay, if there were 50 employees today, how would it work? And so I was constantly building for the business of the future. I wasn't solving for the problems of the day. So immediately when we had, our first employee, she came in and sat right next to me. So there wasn't a lot of need for additional tools, right? She was right there. But if there was some other new employee that, lived across town, we hired everybody locally at first. We were really nervous about having people from out of the state, out of the country, and out of everywhere. So we were a little worried first. But we set up things that, our voice over IP system had a texting platform at the time. It was Ring Central. It was really rudimentary. It was before Slack and before any of the fun, cool stuff. And we just set up ways to communicate on those online tools immediately, even if we were close and we could meet up once a week or whatever. So I think I was constantly solving for the company of the future. And I think now the systems that we have in place, we actually have created them to be so robust that we bring our clients into our system. We don't visit theirs. So it's actually it's our technology that you participate in when you work with us as a client, which is very powerful because it sets them up for success because we know the tool, we communicate on the tool, we set up the Trello board, we set up the Slack channels, and they just kind of jump in and get drug along, and it really helps speed up that connection between our client and our employees.
We're driving the bus.
Yeah.
We provide the bus, we drive the bus. All you got to do is get on and ride the bus.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, one of the things I heard you say was with the systems and processes, you were worried a little bit about going remote. Yeah. And what I've found is a lot of times when I'm working in a physical location, I can lean over to the person next to me and say, hey, how do you do that? Oh, okay, great.
Sure.
Nothing was documented though. And I think that's one of the benefits of having remote or distributed workforce is that it forces you to document that stuff. Exactly. So I want to make one clear delineation between the two companies. Us, we're Bottleneck, your callers. You hire 100% U.S. based, and they're W-2s for Pink Callers. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. They're all employees. Yes.
Okay. What was your decision-making process behind that?
Well, it started with the mission to provide jobs for women like me. And so my heart was super big. And when Doug met me and married me, I was like,
still is. I
was a single mom. You don't understand. So like every resume that came across my desk, I was like, oh, single mom. Terrible story. I'd read it like a telenovela, right? I'd be like, oh, we have to hire her. Doug, you don't understand. She's the perfect one. And I honestly felt like hiring people was just a joy beyond joy, just to be able to like help them. Like it was so wild at the beginning, right? And I've grown past that a lot. I've grown and matured. I still want to help people and I still want to give people options and opportunities. But that's not the big deciding factor anymore. But that was kind of where it started. That makes sense.
What's the big deciding factor now?
The big deciding factor now is we love people that are parents. We love people that have had a caregiving background because they're super nurturing and empathetic. We love people that have worked with children professionally, like teachers. Some teachers have been some of my best employees. Or people that have worked in daycare environments, because let's be real. Business owners, it can be a little difficult to manage them, right? A little bit like managing kids. And customers, homeowners, go figure. There's just a lot going on there. And so you have to be able to really multitask and take on a lot of different personalities throughout the day, because you're going to be dealing with the general public and you're going to be dealing with your owners and field staff. So you really have to be able to pivot. And we find that people that have done that type of work, and remote work is also great, or just straight up super solid customer service backgrounds. So we kind of tend to skew towards one or more of those avenues where we look for people.
I'll go a layer deeper. As we were growing, Michelle was operationally thinking, well, I've got to pick the people I know who needs to do what on the team, that sort of thing. And we hit a little roadblock,
A rough patch.
little rough patch. Let's put it that way. Yeah. And we started to have some attrition issues, challenges with people just not being able to stick. And we went through an incredible testing platform called Colby. And our Colby scores revealed a lot about us. And when we sat down with our advisor, he looked at us, and the very first question he asked, he said, in your business, who does the hiring? And Michelle raised her hands. I do it all.
Yeah.
He's like, have you had any problems with that? And we're like, well, now that you mention it, yeah, we've hit this real rough spot. And he opens up and starts revealing our business personality. And he says, Doug, you're actually the one that should be hiring people based on what you see, what you hear, what you know. The skills that you possess are really the people that need to fill the positions that you're looking for. And that was one of the biggest light switches for us professionally, personally. And it really turned the light on to what type of person we need. And since then, again, it's not because of me, but it's just my personality and what I know the role needs to be filled with has allowed us to draw the right type of person. So it's taken off incredible.
Yeah. So I have to ask a question. Yeah. How did that make you feel, Michelle?
Oh, I felt like so dumb. But the problem was I was hiring me. I was hiring the big picture thinker, the woo-woo, the fun, the party girl. I was hiring the person that saw past what was real and like thought about the future. And what I really needed was somebody to just make the donuts every day. And Doug is a donut maker. He just is. And I was lost, and I was hiring myself. And so now he hires himself, and it works out brilliantly. So it works out great.
Colby calls it, there's a term for it. Michelle is a quick start, meaning that she comes up with ideas. She can really take off quickly and let's get things going. Yeah. I am what's called a fact finder or a follow through. And I'm not the quick starter guy, but I'll get it done. And we joke with each other, and we call that she's the arsonist, and I'm the firefighter. So that's really what it breaks down to.
Yeah, pretty much. In business, only in business.
That's fantastic. Well, you know what? It's interesting because we've been exploring that. We were using DISC profiles assessments for a while. And found that, and we recently met this person, Tim Brennan, from a company called Talent Sourcer. And what's neat is we had the same problem, right? We were putting people in that we thought were just amazing, and for some reason, something wasn't clicking.
Yeah.
And so what we did is we established a baseline between myself, the relationship between myself and Raina, our assistant.
So good.
And we found out how that score was, and you could see we were on the total opposite end of the spectrums. And I'm like,
exactly.
Wait, I'm terrible at this and this. She's amazing. That's our baseline. That's how we need to move forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Because someone else's strengths can, overcome someone else's weaknesses. In my case. And I took the test twice, and because I didn't believe the results the first time, and test assessment. I'm supposed to say assessment, but the second time around, it was virtually the same. And I was like, oh, I really am bad at follow up and details.
You are. That's who you are.
That's the whole time.
Yeah. So true. So true.
Yeah. So Sarah and I are a lot alike, and Jamie and Michelle are a lot.
Yeah, a lot of ideas and do this. And Sarah's always, what do you always tell me? Like, let's just focus on one thing at a time. Let's finish that first.
Yeah.
Raise into the choir here.
But I'm also like I question everything. I'm like, why do we need to do that? Like when we brought on this new assessment, I was like, I need to know why. I asked some pretty pointed questions, and
I'm like, because.
Yeah.
because that's what mom says to the kids.
Yeah. So funny.
I love the fact that there's so many similarities, and I'm sure other couples experience the same types of deals. And I wonder if we might be able to segue a little bit here, so we can take advantage of our time today. But what's up with the world of VAs right now? It's a very broad question, but VA being virtual assistants, or as we like to call them, dedicated distant assistants.
I love that term, by the way. It's my favorite. Awesome. I think remote work, I think VAs, I think working from home, I think all these things that have happened in the world in COVID and all the craziness, I think it's proven a point to the workforce at large that working remotely can be productive. Mm-hmm. Working remotely is an option. And I think it's going to markedly change the way we are seen as a service, the way both of our companies are probably seen, that it now is not the scariest, like, oh, we don't know where they are and what are they doing and how are they accomplishing anything. There's so much accountability built into our service. It's very similar to yours. And there's so much transparency. It's like you can't hide and watch your telenovelas all day. You got to get your work done. So there's a lot going on technologically that's really supporting this new way of working. So I am very hopeful. We had a difficult time in March and April. We had some challenges. We did have to lay off a few people. I know we talked about that. Mm-hmm. And we really had to pivot our business and streamline who we were as business owners and individuals in our team. And then we really had to see new opportunities. I went after hard, like super hard, any home improvement company, because people were stuck at home. And I don't know if you've ever called somebody in the last 4 months to get a deck built or a stair done or something in your driveway. These guys are literally busy for a year. These cats are killing it. So I said, okay, we're going to go after anything having to do with general contracting, any home service, which we're already in, but anything like that that's home improvement, we should really start to focus on. And it's been massively helpful for our business. So I think you just have to see the opportunities in these times. And I think VAs are here to stay now. I mean, that's just it for my 2 cents.
I agree. I think one of our biggest challenges or hurdles that we have from people that we talk to all the time. We talk to a lot of people about this that have shown interest. Even this last month, it's really gotten a lot bigger. And a lot of people say that, how can I keep accountability, the security issue, because I can't watch what they're doing. They're not in a secure environment because they aren't working from home.
Sure.
Do you get that question ever? And if you do,
absolutely.
We do. And so what we've done is we've really leaned into technology to help us with that accountability. Probably one of my favorite new tricks in the last 90 days, and we just kicked it off in the last 90 days, is a sequence of workflows in Slack. And so Slack has the ability, they obtained actually the workflow module, which used to be a secondary app, but it was so powerful, they just went ahead and gobbled it up. So you go to your Slack workspace, you go down to tools, go to workflow builder, and you can build out a series of either checklists, quick responses, reminders, tagged, questions. And so each one of my team leads has built an entire sort of success platform for each one of their individual assistants based on the client needs. So I got a client that's in pond installations. He's very focused on 2 or 3 pieces of data on leads coming in. So she has to self-report that data to him through a workflow that's automatically triggered to her channel every day, so that at 5 p.m. when he's, driving home from his, when he's driving home from the job sites, he can check all the things that she's accomplished right here on his phone, and he doesn't have to check in with her and go get the information.
What did you do? Right? Tell me about it. It's a KPI
that's just done.
That, again, lends the accountability. He can see, she knows where the bar is set, and has to work toward that every day. So she appreciates it because she knows what the goal is.
Yeah.
He appreciates it. The client appreciates it because he gets the data. He gets his questions answered. And then the end result is the customer that's interacting with both is really getting a higher satisfaction in dealing with the company.
And you can modify and customize those based on the day. So I'll have a specific workflow. One of our team leads will have a workflow built for every single day for each member of their team. So on Mondays, the question will be, what happened over the weekend that was fun? She can take a read on her team's emotion and feelings through this workflow. And then when she gets a minute to focus on her team, she can look and say, oh, it was so-and-so's dog's birthday or whatever, right? And we can celebrate something like that because now it's like we know that happened over the weekend. So connecting with those employees is hugely impactful, not only for our culture, but it helps our customers know what's being accomplished all day, other than just phones and emails getting taken care of. So that has been massive for our company, and we have just pressed on the gas on Slack workflows.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's really good. Did you?
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, no, I was going to say that it's really important for us to have a good culture, and we love to know and celebrate things with our clients and with our DAs. Internal and external, somebody's birthday, somebody's work anniversary,
Totally.
Somebody's getting married, somebody's going on vacation. We make sure, how was your vacation? It's just all about when it's almost empowering them. They feel like they're part of a company and they're a contributing person and they're cared for and we actually love them. It's they're better for their client.
Yeah, they
Absolutely. I really enjoy seeing when clients come on board with us and I walk them through the process and start to, the analogy, flip the light switch on in the room and show them what's available. It is really fun to watch their mind light up. And it's like, because one of the biggest questions I get right up front is, well, how can I trust someone that I don't see every day? How do I trust them when they're not sitting in my office? I can't walk up and look over their shoulder. I can't knock on their door or hear them talking on the phone. True. But like Michelle said, leaning into technology and understanding that there are a lot of tools that can give you the same information you're looking for. And we're the experts in setting it up, so you don't even have to do that. We're just able to give you a turnkey opportunity, to come on board, get what you need done, and move forward a lot more quickly.
Yeah, I know we're getting towards the end, so just put your finger up when you're ready to go, or something like that. But the other question I had was, and I was talking with a friend of mine. I did have a question about security, but the other day I was talking to a friend of mine, and he mentioned he was speaking with the CEO of a large company. They had like an advertising and a budget or something. It's like $250 million. That was ridiculous. I mean, it's a huge company.
Wow.
And the challenge was that when they came back after the break, when everybody was sent home and had to work remotely, they came back. She showed up for work. Guess how many employees came back to work that day? She gave them the option to. Zero people came back. So they developed a remote-based program to work from home. From what I understand, Salesforce, the largest tower in San Francisco, is basically the same. And then you look at companies like Matt Mullenweg's, Automatic, one of the co-founders of WordPress. They have almost 1,200 employees, 100% remote. He calls them distributed workforce. So it's a viable solution in my opinion. Obviously, I'm biased to it, but I practice what I preach. We're 100% remote. We work out of our home. And I always say the greatest thing about this is we can work anywhere with an internet connection.
That's right.
The worst thing about it is we can work anywhere with an internet connection.
So true. No, I even heard that Google headquarters in San Francisco was telling their employees that they needed to physically move to the center of the country, get out of California, because they were paying them such high salaries because of the such high living conditions. And so they're going back to their employees and renegotiating contracts and saying, why don't you move to Nebraska? We trust you. We love you. You're one of the peeps. get on a plane and get out of here. We can pay you less. You can have a better lifestyle. And a lot of people in these big companies are opting to go. So I think we're going to see a massive shift in those big towers full of people. I think it's really going to change a lot. So we'll see.
I want to agree with one word that you said that's so important: viable.
Viable.
It has completely become a viable option. I've talked to more people this year that I've talked to in years past that 5 years ago looked at us like, I've got an office, I've got a person, I've got a brick and mortar building. I don't need something that I can't see. And I've gotten those phone calls that it's like, let's talk, because now you're the real deal and this is what we have to do. So it's been good.
Well, I love it. Do you have any more questions?
I do, and I think this is a question that might be good for the audience. Why don't you describe what you mean by providing, what Pink Collars does for the home-based industry?
Okay.
What is considered the home-based industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So we provide that front-end person. So the customer service rock star, we call them. So the person that answers all the phones, texts, emails, and chats that come into your home service business or field service business. And we set expectations. We capture all the lead information into your CRM. So we're trained on about 10 different CRMs. And so we can put all the information of the lead into your CRM. We can schedule that first appointment if you do have to do an in-house or site visit. We can also do measurements online. So a lot of our gutter cleaning, pressure washing, lawn care, Christmas light guys, they do all of their measurements on Google Earth. So we can do that same protocol for their business and give the customer a quote right there over the phone. So it really speeds up the ability to get pricing to your customers when you use those types of tools, and you don't have to go to the house. It's not possible for every, of course, industry. But we just provide all of that. And I think the thing we do the best is just set expectations. Have you sent my bill? Are they coming? What day am I on the schedule? What's happening? You know, all of that sort of back and forth communication that goes on with your customers, which are the lifeblood of your business, but you don't have time to stop the truck and, you know, demobilize the crew, because that's what your main role is in the field, to be able to set those expectations. And so we just become kind of, I think, what does Josh Latimer call us? He calls us the mothership. He's like, you guys are the mothership. I was like, okay, if you say so.
You know, I talk to folks all the time, and I get, you know, call after call where people are saying, I may answer 1 out of every 10 calls because I'm so busy trying to wear all the hats. I'm trying to be out in the field. I'm trying to run my crews. I'm trying to answer my phones, and I can't do it all. And what I encourage people to do is look at us. We just want to take those hats off your head and start wearing them for you. Let you be a business owner. Let you grow the business. Let you do what you love to do, and let us handle the customer service part of it is what we do.
Yeah. So that's what we do. And we also find that a lot of home service and field service guys are challenged with the technology. They don't want to be sitting in front of a computer all day. That's why they have the business they have, right? So they want to actually get out and do the thing. They don't want to sit and type the thing. You know, they want to do the thing.
You learn to be an electrician to be an electrician, right? You learn to be a plumber to be a plumber.
Not to put data in. And so we take all that off their hands so that they can really just be out there transacting business and getting it done. And it's fun because, again, we become a part of their company because each individual person of ours is assigned to your business. So it's not like a whole, you know, room full of cubicles and your phone will get routed to a different person. It's that one individual every day. I mean, we have some of our team members on websites. Their photos are on their marketing materials. They claim them as their own, and we love it. We think it's great.
Yeah.
You know,
there really is a relationship that gets built. And that's really cool for us, you know, because it's an investment from our clients into us, but we want to invest back into them in helping them grow their business.
Yeah. So that's
I
us.
love that. I love
absolutely.
that.
I love it too.
So how do people get in touch with you?
Well, the best way to do it is to set a fire, because Doug will show up.
I'll bring the truck and bring the hose. I'll put it all out. No.
Pinkcollars.com. There's tons of little buttons where you can schedule some time. Doug is obsessed with getting on Zoom and talking about stuff. And if you start him on golf, you'll be on with him for a long time. So get on with him. He's the first person that you get to see in our organization. And so you schedule a Zoom call with him. We see if we might be a good fit. And it's really cool. And then we decide when we want to get started. So probably our website's the best way.
Best way. Pink Collars. It's CALLERS.
Yep.
Like a phone collar, not a shirt collar. A lot of people ask where that name came from. There's the blue collar world, the white collar world, but not a lot of people know that the administrative world is known as pink collar. So we did a little play on words there, and that's where the name came from. So check out our website. Main numbers there, rings to my cell phone. So we like to, handle customer service. Again, what you said, we practice what we preach. So reach out to us. You can get us anywhere.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I have one last question before we wrap, if possible. If there's something that you can share with all of us, some words of wisdom, the pink collar words of wisdom that you could leave with us before we wrap, we would love to be able to something that somebody maybe they're at a certain point where they may need you right now, but they don't really know whether or not that you can help them. But what is something they can do today to kind of take that next step in getting that quality of life back for them?
Well, I would say get a CRM in place, get some sort of customer relationship management software in your pocket, in your phone, on your right here. Just you can run your entire company right here. So I would say find a software that you like, do a ton of different trials. We've got a ton of websites on our site you can go to and you can shop for any CRM that you're interested in. It's really a very personal choice for the business that you have and for the data that you want out of your CRM, what you want it to accomplish. But the minute you start getting all of those customers into a place, whether you capture them and do business with them or not, you need to be able to touch them in the future in some way. And think of how your business is. I mean, grow it like I did. Grow the business of the future. Don't solve the problem of today. Buy what you need for the future when you have 10, 20, 30 guys in the field. And that'll get you fired up and re-energized about your business because you'll start seeing the benefit of being able to connect with customers quickly and easily in a group way on the CRM. So that's what I would do.
Absolutely.
I love it. It's all about customer service, right?
It is.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've either seen somebody driving a lawnmower or my friend, he set up fences for people, gates and stuff. And he'd have one hand, he'd be working while he's talking on the phone. He's like, oh, hold on one second. Click. Yeah, I'll be there at 3:00. Click back. And he's working away. And I'm like.
So hard.
Real quick, I had a great,
hard.
One of our clients called me up the other day and he said, it was lunchtime and I happened to answer my own phone. He normally has one of our girls answering the phone. And when I answered the phone, the client who had been a longtime client of ours was like almost disappointed that I answered the phone and not Mary in the office. So he was like, I totally realized that I was the guy in the way. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, we're just grateful for the opportunity, grateful to get to know you guys. I think Bottleneck, and know that we're a customer.
Yeah, we're customers. We're brand new newbies. In fact, we just started with Addie like 10, 12 days ago, and she's rocked my QuickBooks world. Let me just tell you, because I'm not the numbers person. In fact, ask Doug, I had a little bit of a numbers meltdown, like right off camera over here at the bottom of the stairs last night. I was like, you don't understand. And he's like, okay, fine. And it's funny, I think I felt that pressure because Addie had already solved all the other QuickBooks drama that I was dealing with. So that's all solved. And now it's like, now I'm focusing on something else. And she's been able to find some really deeper level cost of goods numbers for our business in like a week. Stuff that I've been struggling with for months because it's just not my skill set. She's like, oh, we're going to do this and that and the other, and we're going to do blah, blah, blah. She sent me a little video, and I was like blown away. So we're in heaven because she's helping me a lot. So it's great.
Yay. Well, thank you again.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being our friends, and thank you for being our clients. We cannot wait to get more people that are in the home services industry and send them your way, because I think what you guys do is amazing.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. And likewise, we feel the same way. That task-oriented goal, I mean, again, Addie just drills down and gets it done.
That's
and
great.
it took a lot off of our plates, so we're grateful for that. So
No,
awesome.
Thank you so much. Well, I'll have to make sure that she gets the kudos. I'll let her know.
Make her the queen for the day. Queen. Queen for the day.
But do you have anything else before we wrap?
No, I'm grateful to know both of you, and they're part of our lives now. I love it.
Thanks, guys. So
Thank you.
fun.
Couple live we've done, so thank you.
Can't wait to get out of this town and come see you. We have lots of friends in Kansas City. We want to come down.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
We want to come down and visit and start some fires, some business fires.
Well, thank you so much. Hold on one quick second. Don't go anywhere. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. So hold on real quick, and we'll get the right picture on here. Thank you so much for tuning in today. The reason why we had Doug and Michelle on today was because I wanted to give you a different perspective. We wanted to give you a different perspective of this whole remote-based, virtual, distributed workforce world that we now find ourselves in post or current COVID that we're working on now. And just let you know that there's so many options out there to help you alleviate the bottleneck in your business. And chances are, I hate to say this, it could be you. It could be you. I know for a fact it was me. Sarah and I get in our way a lot, and we just cannot recommend enough doing something like this. So if you are in the home services industry, please go to pinkcollars.com, and you can reach out to Michelle and Doug Myers, founder and prezi of Pink Collars. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, I just always want to say this, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for spending this time with us. If you have any questions or comments, please, in the replay, ask in the comment field there. I will make sure to get any questions you have over to Doug and Michelle. And remember, very important thing, make your own ripple. We really appreciate you guys hanging in there, and have a fantastic day.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.